We just got a huge update from the Skyblivion team, who just released a new trailer along with tons of new gameplay in a 3-hour livestream, where they go into detail about all of their truly unique weapons, locations, and even a release date window. So I've summarized all of the interesting stuff and details you might have missed in this one video for you to watch. But if you didn't know, Skyblivion is a mod for Skyrim that seeks to remaster the Elder Scrolls Oblivion in the Skyrim engine, with both the gameplay and the graphics completely overhauled, but while still being true to the original game. Today I'll be breaking down some incredible features from the gameplay that the team has been working on. But first, let's react to this new trailer together, because scarily, this trailer is possibly better than any official Bethesda trailer I've ever seen, and it's a fan-made mod. It really gives you an idea about how passionate these guys are, and the quality we can expect.
My blades have failed. The Empire, she is in chaos. And now, at the turning of the era, the ruby throne sits empty. The enemy have arrived. We have to act quickly, take up arms, and close shut the marble jaws of Oblivion.
Oh my god. Jeez. Oh my god.
Find my son. He alone can determine the fate of the Empire. The fate of Cyrodiil.
Oh man, it's so nostalgic. Look at that. Wow. Dude, the Brotherhood armor looks insane. How did you miss that? Very cool shield. Oh, it's the Lich. Oh my god. Man, they have outdone themselves with this trailer. 2025. And sign up today at Skyblivion as a volunteer if you have any of the skills they need on their website, because 2025 is actually the latest that this project should be done by. It's purely volunteer work. We've got Starfield coming out, people have changing careers and jobs, and these guys do this as a hobby. Skyblivion could come out earlier, but it really does depend on the fans who are making this modding project, who are working completely for free, by the way, so check out their website if you have any skills to support them. Now let's take a look at some of the new features. The first feature that's been fixed from Oblivion is the terrifying zoom every time you talk to someone. Instead, we have a newly animated facial animation that looks hyper realistic. What's crazy is that the team are now using the original dialogue from Oblivion, which has aged like a fine wine, in combination with these new animations. And what they've achieved here is incredible.
I've been trying to catch Lenavo for months, but every time I approach the place, his lookout sees me, and he goes running.
Secondly, the menu UI has been redesigned with icons for inventory, skills, spells, and obviously the map. Now the map has changed from the classic Oblivion map to a more Skyrim-esque one, with Oblivion map markers. I actually prefer the original map from Oblivion, but that's probably because I grew up with that game. Many of the unique weapons have been completely redone though to the highest standard, including the enchanted weapon effects like the Bow of Infernal Frost, which does both fire and ice damage, and that's indicated on the weapon itself. Even the arrows, visible in first person, are made of ice. So you're literally firing ice and fire at people. It also, interestingly, doesn't actually require a quiver, because it creates its own arrows purely from ice and fire. What a cool idea. And when this bow is fired, it just looks incredibly awesome. The Skyblivion team stated that each unique weapon will actually have a completely unique enchantment effect as well. So Valendrunk, for example, now has a standing power attack effect that causes enemies to stagger in an area around you. And every time you use it, all this dust sort of gets thrown up around you. Every unique weapon in the game is going to have one of these truly unique effects, which is super exciting to hear. Also, the Great Aegis no longer looks like just a steel shield from Oblivion, it's also been redone to an astounding level, and it still provides 100% resistance to magic, one of the most powerful shields in the entirety of the game, and it's now worthy to go on that display cabinet. We also see the Spell Drinker Amulet, which would allow you to absorb enemy spells that hit you, and then use that magicka to cast your own spells. And then we get a look at Clavicus Vile's helmet, which adds 20 speechcraft to your skill. And that's 20 out of 100, so it's a sizable gain in skills. The Imperial Watch Armor, which looks incredible, with the red diamond and Dragon of Akatosh detail on the chest. And of course, though many of us have already seen it, the redesigned Dwarven Armor, which literally makes you look like a Dwarven tank. During the livestream, many other armor sets were scrolled through and they all look incredibly unique. And even though I've played Oblivion and Skyrim, these look like items I want to reacquire while playing this mod, which is a great feeling to have. All the books have also been retextured and they now look stunningly beautiful. In fact, the artist who retextured all of these books also did the loading screens as well. The loading screens are true to Oblivion's original loading screens, but were all created from scratch, and I'm really glad that they kept this in the game because it's so nostalgic to me. New enemy models have even been added for the Goblins, and there are even different clans represented. In fact, I don't think many players even knew that there were originally different Goblin clans that were at war with each other, and there was even an undiscovered secret quest where each clan would raid one another and to try and take the opponent's Goblin staff in hopes to win the war. Well, we get to see here that the developers have distinctly made each Goblin clan look different with face paint and body markings. The more heavily armored Goblins look like they've just grabbed scraps of armor to equip themselves from fallen adventurers, clearly lacking the skills to craft it themselves. We also see some brigands have been changed so they look more like the ones in Oblivion. Personally, I actually love the ones in Skyrim, but these ones still look awesome too. We also see spiders and Daedroth, with the ghost wraiths looking especially terrifying. We also get a brief look at the realms of Oblivion with tons of swords of the fallen blade stuck into the ground. A beautiful backdrop in the distance there as well. Even the weather creates this dark atmosphere of foreboding, which really suits the realm of Oblivion. Kyle from the Skyblivion team explains how the Oblivion realms will be the last thing that they plan to work on, so that they can combine their new experience and skill set into creating a unique experience unlike the original Oblivion gates, which were very much like, quickly run and grab the sigil stone and then teleport out of there as quick as you can. After you've done a few Oblivion gates, you've kind of done them all, whereas the Skyblivion team want to make something unique out of this. To demonstrate the amount of work that's gone into the world design on Skyblivion, I wanted to share a few moments with you. Like when we come across this cart in the wilderness next to some scrolls, likely owned by a mage who seems to have accidentally summoned some fire Atronachs and burnt down the surrounding forest. The landscape design here really tells a story and gives you an idea of how much attention to detail the team are putting into this remaster. Later on, we find a secret shrine in a forest with an abandoned cart outside. As we enter the ruin, exposed brickwork reveals a secret Daedric shrine deep below. With the smell of food to our right on the open grill and a horse parked nearby, we definitely know there are people here somewhere. If we head deeper down into the ruin, we'll actually find a hidden cult of worshippers below. Our first view of the open world of Cyrodiil when you leave the Imperial sewer after escaping the prison for the first time. That first view of the open world, the lighting and redone landscape here looks stunning, but it's still true to the original game. We come across a camp with some hunters that look naturally integrated into the environment, one of them sitting on a log like they've been settled here for some time. Now if you remember the forts from The Elder Scrolls Oblivion, they all looked exactly the same, kind of like they've just been plonked into the landscape with the exact same 3D model. Well, the Skyblivion team has redesigned every single fort. I believe there's like 50 to 60 forts in the game, so that's 50 unique redesigned locations with completely different ruined courtyards, smitheries, dining halls and collapsed walls. Now they look way more realistic, they have a medieval feel to them, and as an architect I can actually say they look pretty accurate in places. They've clearly taken some inspiration from medieval European castles, and each castle seems to be integrated into the landscape around it, kind of forming defensible positions along the road or the edge of a cliff instead of just looking like they're plonked somewhere randomly. They look much more grounded in their environments, like they've been there for centuries. We also see a main quest location with a Dark Souls bonfire reference. We also take a walk around the city of Leyawiin, around the castle which looks very impressive, and the buildings look incredibly detailed and realistically defensible. The castle features have been added between the main parts of the city and the poorer area, but the market and town centre still maintain the true feeling of Leyawiin. If we skip back to the north of Cyrodiil and take a walk up the Geral Mountains, you get an idea for how the snowy region will look, but we've been told that this is still a work in progress. The landscapes and mountains around Bruma itself look stunning, and the city itself has been lovingly recreated with some additional features that enhance the original. Walking around the poorer side of the city, we get a closer look at the 3D mesh roads as they go from flat to bumpy, and the way the snow sits up against the houses looks very natural. Now, to give you an idea of how much work has gone into this project, this is what Anvil currently looks like, and this is why mods like Skyblivion take such a long time. So if you want to support the developers, go and follow them on social media. And if you want to see my full reaction to a Skyblivion quest, you can check out this video right here.